Welcome to a guided aroma freedom technique with Crystal Gilbert of Divine Wellness. Just to make things easier on yourself, go ahead and have your essential oils nearby, ready to use when it gets to that step. Grab your memory release blend or your lavender or frankincense stress away, or if you don't have that, whatever oils you do have, whatever you feel drawn to. You're also going to need for later rounds, inner child, release, or trauma life. And for the final part, something very powerful for you that expresses your new belief and energy, like believe, transformation, valor, highest potential. If you have clarity and would like to use that before you start this, go ahead and pause right now. All right, settle in, make sure you're free from distractions, and let's begin. Step 1 is to set your goal or intention. Now you have the resources, and go ahead and pull from those if you're having difficulty. Make sure it's something that you would love to see happen but are not sure how it could. Something that feels hopeless but you really want it. And this is the part where you can use clarity or inspiration if you need to. Make sure you are choosing an I am statement, something in the present, as though you're already living it. You want it to feel uncomfortable when you say it. You want resistance to come up. That's how you know you've hit it on the head. If it feels easy and possible, you're going to need to tweak it. So, for instance, if it is, I get a promotion at my job, you're going to want to pare it down and be specific about a time frame. I get a promotion this October. I get $1 pay raise. Whatever it is, you want to put it in something more specific so that it feels a little uncomfortable. You don't want something open-ended. You're making a statement and declaring this. Now, pause this and try it out. Say it out loud. Keep paring it down using your worksheet if you need to, your goal setting and affirmation intention worksheet if you're still having difficulty. Once you have it, you can come back and we'll move forward. State your goal or intention out loud and rate how likely it seems. 0 feels totally hopeless, that it could never happen or you don't know how. And 10 is you're totally confident it could happen. Now, ideally, you're going to want to pick something that feels like a 5 or less. And go ahead and pause if you still need to play around with it and get it just right. If it's a 5 or less, and you definitely feel resistance, let's go ahead and go to the next step. Say it aloud again, your goal or intention. Listen for the negative voice or that inner resistance that tells you this is not possible. And it may not specifically say it's not possible, but this is where all the negativity comes. You're not good enough. Yeah, right. How in the world could you do this? You don't have time. No one will listen to you. And this is the part where you may be so used to hearing those voices, it may be difficult to discern that that's a negative voice. Pay attention. Now, as you're listening to that inner dialogue, notice how you feel when you hear it. And put that into a one-word feeling or emotion, making sure it's not a judgment. A judgment is how someone makes you feel. An emotion is what you feel without something else attached to it. For instance, an emotion is sad, angry, overwhelmed. A judgment would be rejected, abandoned, forsaken, overlooked. It involves someone else. If you need more help with this, you can refer to the Feelings versus Judgment resource. And you can pause and come back when you're ready. Now, if you have that one-word feeling, notice where you feel it in your body. Notice how it's affecting you. You could feel it in your head, maybe starting to get a headache, tension in your shoulders or neck, feeling like you need to crack your back or your knuckles, feeling your shoulders or your posture slumping, an eye twitch, a jaw clench. Be very aware of what's going on in your body and what's shifting right now. Connect with the feeling and bodily sensation. And drift back to an earlier time when you felt the same way. Noticing what pops up immediately. Do not discard it. Do not judge it. Allow whatever it is to come up. Sometimes it's an image, like a snapshot from recently or long ago. And it could be as soon as this very moment, or something that happened just before this session. Or it could be so long ago when you were a child. It can also be something that never actually happened. Almost like a dream. Some people don't see images, but it's a song that pops into their head, a color, or a feeling. Draw back into yourself and be very aware of what's going on right now. When you have it, go ahead and grab your essential oils. Ideally, you're going to be using your memory release blend, lavender, stressway, and frankincense for this round. Put 1 drop each of lavender, stressway, and frankincense if you didn't pre-make it beforehand. Close your eyes. Go back to that memory or whatever popped up for you. Cup your hands over your nose and mouth at a level that feels comfortable to you. And breathe the oils into the memory for about a minute. Or until you notice the memory and or the feeling shift. When you feel it's gone as far as it can possibly go at this time. And if you need to take longer now, go ahead and pause. and then hit the play button when you're done. Now, as you've breathed in those oils to that memory and the feeling, observe what happens to the image, to what popped up, to the feeling, to how it affected your body, and all the thoughts attached to it. The image may fade away or break apart, dissolve. It may become more intense or shift into something completely different. Observe and notice what happened. Notice any new beliefs, attitudes, guidance, or creative ideas that you become aware of. This typically happens in later rounds, but go ahead and make note of anything that may have come up for you, even if it's very small or subtle. Now, you're going to rate your progress. Read or state your goal or intention out loud again. Ideally, stating it out loud. I found that is much more effective. Rate how possible the goal feels now on the scale of 0 to 10, with 0 feeling totally hopeless, it'll never happen, or it would take a miracle to, and 10 being totally confident. If there's still a negative voice, return to step 2. And we're going to go ahead and go through a few more rounds, but in the rare chance that you say that and have no negative voice whatsoever, you have totally bypassed it, you can kind of fast forward into the affirmation, power pose, and action step phase that will come later. But since most people do not have that drastic of a shift that quickly, we're going to go ahead and do the next 2 rounds before we get to the affirmation. So I also want to take a point here and make sure you understand you're not grading yourself. This has nothing to do with good or bad. 0 doesn't imply bad, 10 doesn't imply good. This is simply a way to assess what's going on right now. So if you find your number dipping even lower, that's totally okay. This is all part of your healing journey. So what needs to happen will happen, and allow it to be that way. If it goes up, let it be. If it goes down, let it be. And I would say congratulations, because that would indicate that you've struck a core issue. And that would need a TMRT, or the memory release technique, to continue. So if that's the case and it dips lower, go ahead and pause this, find the memory resolution technique video and walk yourself through that, and then come back here. If your rating goes up, then you can stay on here and we'll continue. State your goal or intention out loud again. And once you have that rating again, of 0 being hopeless, 10 being totally confident, listen again for that inner voice, that negative voice that tells you it's not possible. Notice how you feel when you hear that voice. And put it into a one-word feeling or emotion. Embarrassed, anxious, afraid. And try to pare it down as much as possible, making sure that you do feel it in your body. Notice where you feel it in your body. How is it affecting you? And now, connecting the feeling and bodily sensation, you're going to drift back to an earlier time when you felt the same way. Closing your eyes, noticing the first memory or image that pops up from recently or long ago. It Could be that snapshot of a specific time or a movie of multiple times. Go ahead and pause if you need to take longer. Now, you're going to smell your essential oils, and for this round, grab Inner Child. If you do not have Inner Child, a good substitute might be Joy or any of the citrus oils. Now place 1 drop of your oil into your palms and breathe the oils into the memory for about a minute, or until you notice the memory and or the feeling shift, until it's gone as far as you feel it can go at this time. Notice what's happening to that image, the memory, the feeling, the bodily sensation, and your thoughts. Understanding that one part may shift or break away, fade away, and another part could become more intense or shift into something entirely different. For instance, you may be feeling sadness in the beginning, and then it shifts into an intense anger. Whatever the shift is, notice it. Also notice any new beliefs, attitudes, guidance, what the inner voice is saying if that's shifting, any creative ideas or action steps that you become aware of. When you feel ready, go ahead and open your eyes and read or state out loud your goal or intention again, rating how possible the goal feels now, from 0 being totally helpless, 10 being totally possible. And if there's still a negative voice, there's still an inner resistance or something that is holding you back, it doesn't feel quite right, you can go ahead and go to the next round, and this time using Release or Trauma Life. Now, if applicable, you can also use SARA, which stands for Sexual Abuse, Ritual Abuse, during this round. And again, if you have no negative voice or inner resistance and you feel totally good, then you can bypass this next round and go straight to the affirmation power pose and action steps. But for now, we're going to go through round 3. So state your goal or intention out loud again, so it's fresh in your mind. And rate it for how likely it seems. Listening to that inner resistance, that negative voice that tells you it's not possible or that something's blocking your way. Notice how you feel when you hear it, when that resistance comes up. Making sure it's one word, feeling, or emotion. Noticing where you feel the feeling in your body. And connecting with the memory, with the feeling and the bodily sensation. Drift back to an earlier time when you felt the same way, allowing that memory to pop up. And when you feel you have it, go ahead and use your oil of choice. Release being the typical one, or if there's something specific, Trauma Life or SARA is a great alternative. Placing 1 drop of the oil in your palms, cupping it over your nose and mouth to a level that feels comfortable, and breathing the oils into that memory for about a minute. Breathe into that feeling. Breathe into where you feel it in your body. And breathing into anything else that comes up for you. If you feel anger rising, allow it to rise. If you feel sadness, like a dam bursting, allow it to flow out. Knowing that it's a good thing and part of your healing journey, and that it's just like a wave, and no wave lasts forever. Allow it to come up and out of you, letting every bit of it trickle out until it's gone as far as you feel it can go at this time. Notice any new beliefs, attitudes, guidance, or creative ideas that you become aware of. Now read or state your goal or intention aloud again, and rate how possible the goal feels to you now. 0 being hopeless and 10 being totally confident you're there. If there still happens to be a negative voice, you can simply go back and listen to this all over again. If there's no negative voice, then continue on with me right now. All right, now gets into the fun part where we create an affirmation. So you're going to create an affirmation that expresses your new positive belief or the new insight that you got from this session. So it could be the exact same thing as your original goal or intention, or you can adjust it to a new awareness that you found during the session. Go ahead and pause it and take as long as you need to shift and write down that affirmation. Now, when you're ready and you have your affirmation, that is something in the present, like, I am confident in speaking with new people. I live my lovely life. I create beauty. Whatever it is, you're going to want to tap into that energy, finding a power pose that expresses that energy of your affirmation. So, for instance, if you feel strong or powerful and your affirmation is about being strong or powerful, you might want to put your arms right up in the air like a tree reaching out. If it's about beauty or self-love, you may want to connect with yourself by putting your hands on your heart. Go ahead and play around with it and get comfortable in your power pose, preferably standing. As something happens when we move our bodies to align with the energy. Next, you can breathe in your oil of choice that best expresses what you're going through. Typically, it's believe or transformation. You can also use valor, motivation, highest potential, anything that best aligns with what you are feeling right now. Now you're going to do the trio, the power trio, I call it. Breathe in your oil, state your affirmation out loud, and do your power pose. Continuing in this for at least 2 minutes, up to 5, until you feel it solidifying or going as far as you feel it can go right now, until you are it, and it is you. Breathe in your oil, state your affirmation out loud, and get in your power pose. Oil, affirmation, power pose. Oil, affirmation, power pose. Now I'll keep track of the time for you, so keep on going. Oil, affirmation, power pose. Oil, affirmation, power pose. Oil, affirmation, power pose. All right. Now, you should be feeling pretty good right now. I'd like you to go ahead and take it a little bit further, so you can pause it right now if you'd like, and go ahead and take it as far as you honestly feel it can go. Don't just settle on good, but go for excellent and outstanding until you feel so emboldened and empowered. Go ahead and continue on taking that time out for yourself. You deserve it, and you are so worth it. And when you're ready, you can come back, and we'll move forward to the action steps. So now, to wrap this up, you're going to make a plan and take action daily. You didn't do this just for the heck of it. You did this for a purpose, because you're ready to change and accept and embrace transformation in your life. Now you're going to have to follow it through and keep up with it every day. And this is here to help you do so. This shifts you from the inside out. So identify the next step or two needed to make your goal into reality. If you want to have more energy, you're going to need to go to bed earlier and eat better food, right? So a next action step could be getting rid of the junk in your house and making a meal plan and meal prepping. And setting your alarm to go to bed earlier, even if it's just 1 hour earlier. Now, you can pause this and take as long as you need to do your action steps, but you have to do it. That is a part of this. The session that you just did, the half hour or so that you just took on yourself, is not it. That's only the beginning. All you did was scoop out all the weeds. Now you have to do the work to make sure that they don't come back. And that's what the action steps are. And the next part, one of your action steps, is saying your affirmation for 2 minutes, morning and night, for at least 3 days. But I'm going to say 7 because, well, you know yourself, don't you? So just do the power trio, state your affirmation out loud at least. You can do that in the bathroom, while you're in the shower, whatever it takes. And ideally, you would do the power trio of affirmation, power pose, oils. Now a tip is to repeat the affirmation in the power pose 1 hour after the session to make sure you are still on track. You can record the affirmation into your phone and listen to it throughout the day. I hope this has blessed you and you are feeling awesome right now. Please shoot me an email or a message if you're connected with me on Facebook or any other social media to let me know how you're feeling right now. I really would love to hear from you. And also, if you're brave, shoot me over your action steps. If you need any help, I'm here for you anytime. Bye for now.